What's going on, guys? It is beyond midnight here tonight, but I had to get out here and talk about this because this is getting out of hand. Uh, Ace Bailey declined, well, late on Wednesday night, declined his private workout with the Sixers that included his flight covered, his dinner covered, hotel, everything with a private workout with the Sixers, Daryl Morey, etc. Um, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe this. That's such a young NBA draft prospect. I understand he hasn't met with any teams yet, but this is pathetic, dude. And I don't want any part of this player on the 76ers. We've had to deal with this bull crap for so long now. I can't, we don't need another Ben Simmons kind of player on this team. It's so funny because this dude isn't even a Sixer and he feels like he's on the team. Like, this is literally the most Sixer thing I've ever seen, and he's not even on our team. This is unbelievable. I just had to get my thoughts out there. So John Clark, he tweeted out everything, all the details, and said that Daryl Morey did a lot of extensive work as well on a Bailey and attending games there. So apparently, this does not mean we won't draft him. But I'll tell you right now, if he gets drafted here, it's probably going to be a failure because I can see this all happening. I already don't like this guy, and I don't want this guy on the team, and he's going to get booed. He is going to get booed unless something crazy happens because it just seems like he doesn't even want to be a Sixer already. And to me, this makes absolutely zero sense for a multiple reasons because the Sixers, especially for a top three draft pick, um, probably a pretty good market to go to if you're a rookie. You're not going to the Wizards or the Hornets or something. You're not going to one of those teams. Not to say that we have more championships than them, however, so long because we don't, and I know we don't. But you know that there's competitive basketball for the most part in Philadelphia. Let alone if you were to go to Washington or Charlotte or somewhere like that, man, it's not gonna be like that. So what you want to go to Washington at 6? We're gonna go to some bull crap like that? No, dude, that's bad. And listen, it's so funny because I feel like every time the Sixers have something stupid going on, whether it's a playoff failure or something like this, you always see the worst emotions come out of me, and the I get less and less professional because it just actually infuriates me, and I just don't understand any part of this at all. I do not understand any part of this at all. How spoiled do you think that you are that you think you're too special and above draft workouts for the National Basketball Association? I listen, who knows what anybody else is thinking, but if I were a top 3 prospect in a sports league going into the draft, I would probably meet with every team possible, especially if it was also paid for, because that is a privilege. This is an experience. This is the ride. This is the journey. And this kid pulls some crap like this out. I do not want this kid on my team one bit. I don't want Ace Bailey at all. And it's funny because I watched some extensive film on him today earlier on. I watched like some people, break down his film and stuff like that, and how his potential is through the roof. And, I saw a lot of critiques on him as well for his lack of positioning, his lack of defense, and his lack of basketball awareness in certain plays. And I was like, you know what? It's there. I agree. But I think that with NBA coaching, I think we can solve those things out. So I started to get more and more on the Ace Bailey train. And then this hits out late at night. And this is just pathetic, dude. I mean, this is absolutely pathetic. I don't know if I've ever seen something like this. Especially, you really have to think of the situation. A top 3 pick, you're not usually going to go to a good team. You're never going to go to a good team. The Sixers, have been competitive for the last 8 years, whether you want to, except for this past season, whether you look at the ending results or not. And they've been potential championship contenders as they've taken some really good teams to 6 or 7 games. So even though it hasn't happened, this is not, this isn't the Hornets of the Wizards. I know I keep saying teams like that because that's down here. Teams like the Pelicans, all those kinds of teams that have just been in purgatory. That's not what the Sixers are. And for a top 3 pick, I just don't get it. And to me, the situation would be so good for Ace Bailey in Philadelphia. This is just stupid. Um, I want no part of this kid at all. I hope we do not draft him. I hope Daryl Morey goes against anything about this guy now because, again, I told you the John Clark report saying that he's still, this doesn't preclude us from taking Ace Bailey because of how much extensive work we've done with the prospect. But man, that's pathetic, dude. That's pathetic. This guy isn't even a Sixer, and he feels like he's on the team. This feels like Ben Simmons and crap like that all over again. So, um, looking at the draft prospects list, there's a few options here that I see because we do not need to deal with this because I don't even want to have to deal with it, to possibly having to trade away another player because they don't want to play in Philadelphia. You either trade up one slot to get Dylan Harper, his teammate, which I don't think is going to happen. Apparently, I think the Spurs are pretty high on Dylan Harper. I don't think that's a possibility. Or it looks like we're probably going to take VJ Edgecombe, which I haven't done really any research on him. He went to Baylor, obviously a good prospect, but and then there's some people that are saying we should trade down to like Con Canoopel or something like that, who's a guard for Duke. So there's some options here, but Ace Bailey looked like it would have been the dream scenario, honestly, for him and for the Sixers. Just if you like pencil in a guy who can kind of do the physicality things that he can do on a basketball court, as he could have been our four. And for something stupid like this to happen, it's honestly a shame. And it's spoiled. I don't know who he thinks he is because he hasn't done anything. He has not done anything. He did not make a deep run for Rutgers. He hasn't done anything in basketball just yet. Because the NBA is what matters. And it's just silly. I can't believe this, but I'm not going to go round and round in circles. This is pathetic. Daryl Morey, stay away from this guy. And you know what? I hope this ages like milk. I really do. I hope maybe we take him and he becomes an absolute stud. And maybe there's a logical reason why he canceled that meeting. But as of right now, it's the dumbest thing that kid could have done. And you know what? If he wants to fall to 5 or 6 to a really bad team or even worse situation, and to be stuck in even worse purgatory than the Sixers are, be my guest, man. You can stay down there with the low lives, but that's not me. So, yeah. That's gonna do it. I just want to get my thoughts out there because I was reading this tonight. I was like, this is unbelievably pathetic, and I just want to get my opinions out there. So yeah, Ace Bailey, you're already a loser. I just want to put that out there, but maybe a little strong. I don't care. I get strong when it comes to Sixers, but that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for listening. Peace.